San Diego for her San Diego company at the dance studio that I went to when I was like 5 years old. And so I saw this flyer at like some Pilates class I took for this like dance company audition. And I was like, okay.
They're like, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's and how cute. It's at my old studio. Like, this is cute. We'll give it a shot. Little did I know, one, I would meet people that I love and are my family. Two, she created opportunities for me that I didn't even know existed. And she also showed me what a strong female leader is, in the sense that all that we were doing, we did rehearsals 5 to 6 times a week. We were rehearsing from like 9 p.m. to 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, because we're all adults, we all have jobs, and that's the only time that we can rehearse. 3, we're not getting paid for this. We are literally doing it out of the sole absolute love of, 1, what this woman is producing, and 2, what she is creating out of our own selves, out of us, out of who we are as individuals, as dancers, as technicians, as people, as human beings. And somehow, through the magic of whatever that was, we became the best of ourselves. I was the best dancer I could have ever been, ever, with her training, with her understanding, with her musicality, her like details, and listening to music and being able to dissect it into movements on your body that go to every single aspect of that song. It's just, I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. And it speaks to my soul language. Like, what she was producing felt right in my body. It felt like that's the movement I was meant to be creating at that point of my actual stature, of my physical being. And during all of this time, I joined that company. I was like 21.
Yeah.
I think I was like 21 or 22 years old. So we were in San Diego. My mom is still in Florida. My mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. My sister's out there. I went out for this surgery, but I had to come back.
Yeah.
I was working, and, you know, when you're young, when you're like 21, 22, 23, like kind of just navigating life, it was a really difficult thing for me to do. And what that company allowed me was a sense of therapy to go through that emotion without having to be there.
Yeah.
And really allotted this safe space for all of us as a company. I mean, we were probably like 20 to 25 company members. Plus, she had Unity 2, which was a younger company. Then she had Unity LA, which were all these professional dancers, which are like still dancers I watch on television now and look up to this day, like just as artists, as people who create. And it really just, I made connections with these people that are lifelong. So then you have family, you know, then you create family. And I'm used to cooking for family. And so after these rehearsals, let me tell you a little thing about San Diego. There is no late night dining. Well, now there's no dining, period.
Yeah.
But San Diego has never had late night dining.
Really?
LA has maybe like swingers or like Pacific Dining car. Like these are these like 24-hour kind of things.
The street cars and stuff. They got
cars for pancakes at 5 a.m. But for me, what it was is, okay, let's just go to a grocery store. I'll buy, let me see what's in your fridge. I'll buy something and I'll just cook us dinner. And that's how like my career started.
Yeah.
Is that these company members, we would be, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We'd go to the 24-hour Rouse and I would get like chicken and rice. And just through my own understanding of just doing that, of being in someone's home and cooking, because that's all I've known with my family and my mother, this feels right. So the food you obviously produce is always going to be better than what you would buy because of that point, because you're putting your love and your soul into it. And not only did I cook dinner for my company, there's 2 instances. So one of our shows, one of our performance shows that I was actually performing in, this was when Tassandra was starting to get approached by TV executives.
Yeah.
She would ask me to cater the intermission of like a green room for VIP executives because she knew I could cook.
Yeah.
And she was like, could you like put something together? I'm like, yeah, totally. So, I mean, and this was like amateur hour. I would like barbecue pork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know, I love that because, like, at that point you weren't a chef, so you didn't cook with the stress of, like, what if they don't like it? You're just like, oh, whatever. Just make some food.
You want some food? Okay. And I'm, like, in full stage makeup.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sweats on because I have, like, a ridiculous costume underneath, like, doing pork sliders. And I'm like, thank you. Okay.
I gotta go.
A stretch. On 5. And so they encouraged me to go to culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Britt, I remember a second time we had this show, Unity LA, Unity 2, Unity San Diego. We were down in San Diego by, like, SeaWorld. Mm-hmm. And I turned one of our hotel suites, I swear to God, into a fucking restaurant. It was like, we had a small kitchenette.
Yeah.
It was one of the nights before. I catered this motherfucker. I made a shit ton of bolognese. I even had, like, my own coolers. I had a shit ton of bolognese. I had a big thing of pasta. I had garlic bread, and it was one of those small ovens that doesn't fit sheet trays. So
yeah.
I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to heat up this shit? And I'm, like, in this hotel room, and we actually got, somebody knocked on the door because there was, like, 15 people all sitting around. We had, like, a nice jazzy music in the background. Like, it was a fucking restaurant. And somebody came up and was like, is everything okay? They're like, yeah, we're just having dinner. It's our entire company.
That's amazing.
But it was just, it felt like that's what I was always supposed to be doing. Dance was mine. It wasn't mine. I didn't want to share that with anyone.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized, that I don't want a career of dance. I don't want to chase that in dance because dance is not that for me. Mm-hmm. Dance for me was my therapy. I've never gone to a therapist. I've never done anything that. I dance. I let it all out. Like, all of my, you know, during my mother's kind of diagnosis, I was in a dance studio. Living in Florida and kind of being in this unknown area with just my mother and seeing that kind of situation, I was always in dance. Like, I didn't really understand what it was that I was doing because I was very, like, I love to perform. I loved to be on stage and do that, but there was a sense of deep insecurity about that part of it, that wasn't as important to me as it was just being in a studio and expressing myself. Mm-hmm. And so I was living in San Diego. I found this thing called the Kitchen Academy. And I went to, like, the open house of the Kitchen Academy. Because I was working at CPK. I was dancing with Unity. And we would perform. Like, we went to different shows and performed. Like, we were performing dance company. Mm-hmm. We just weren't getting paid for it.
Okay.
But that's okay. Like, that's, to me, I was like, this is just what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah.
I need this in my life. We, as a company, need this woman to teach us and to show us and create us to be this part of us, this part of ourselves, the best version. And when I saw the Kitchen Academy, I was like, okay, so this would be like a little bit more casual, because really the only culinary school in Southern California that you would think of is like Cordon Bleu in Pasadena, which is closed now. So then you have like Art Institute, you have like these little random kind of places that are programs and not like degrees, collegiate degrees. And that's kind of what I was interested in. I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue dancing, and I didn't want to go back into school. But the Kitchen Academy was this kind of opportunity to do that. It was like a program.
Gotcha.
Signed up for it. Found an apartment to move into in LA. Decided to move. 2 weeks before I started this Kitchen Academy and like moved up to LA, they called to let me know that like Cordon Bleu bought the Kitchen Academy, and that I was actually going to be the first class of the Hollywood campus of the Le Cordon Bleu.
Damn.
And my fees had already been paid, and the little bit of it that was left, I was able to get through a grant.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah, why not? Let's do this.
I guess I'll go to Le Cordon Bleu Hollywood. And it wasn't the degree. It wasn't like the full program. I think it was like a 7 or 8 month diploma.
It's like a certificate
program.
Yeah.
And I went. And so I was working at CP. I did the morning class. So from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm going to school. from like 11 a.m. or noon to 6, I work at CPK, and then from like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I go to dance rehearsals, and I'm in the company in Los Angeles. And I'm just like, that's my life. And it got to the point where when I got into culinary school, I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I liked being in the kitchen. I liked going to those classes.
Especially in the school, because, you know, your jacket has to be ironed and pressed, and, like, there's all these expectations. And even before you walk in the door, you're like, damn. You know, you don't feel challenged like that anymore.
And other people wanted to be there. This wasn't like you're in, you know, a collegiate academic class. Like, everyone who's there is paying to go there to create that curriculum for themselves.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I liked that journey. And I'd always watched, you know, PBS programs as a kid, and you know, cooking has always been embedded in who I am. I just never, ever, ever until like probably my mid-20s thought of it as a professional option. Yeah. That was the difference. That was the clicking point.
Like, I can get paid for this?
Oh, okay.
Not very much, but yes.
Not very much, but this is a job.
Exactly. I can do this.
Okay.
I can barely make rent doing this.
Yes,
That's
I
great.
can get into further debt. But I don't know why I like this so much.
Yeah. Love that.
And so my first teacher is Matt Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And he creates my professional career for me. He was the first teacher. I went through the whole program. I graduated in 2008. Got my, went to Santa Anita, had my toque, got my little graduation. Felt very proud of myself.
Yeah.
The whole family was there. It was great. And started working with my first teacher, Matt. He, during our internships, hired me where he was the chef de cuisine at Josie's in Santa Monica, which is unfortunately no longer there, but Josie LaBalch, she was the chef there. And so that stage internship / like first paying job was when I had to choose whether I was going to dance more or whether I was going to cook. Because everyone knows when you decide to cook, you can't half-ass it at all. No. It can't be another idea.
No, you have to go all in.
Yeah. It is the only idea. And your off time is practicing that idea. Mm-hmm. And I chose that instead. Yeah. I decided I didn't want to dance. I didn't want to audition. I didn't want to make a job out of dance. As much as I love performing and I love being in class, I can still do that. Yeah. I can have that for myself. But this is something different.
How did your company take that? Like
everyone, and that's the thing. Everyone knew what I could create for myself because there's a level of honesty that comes with dance. If you're not going to make it, they say no. Yeah. They say no to your body before you walk in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of no's, and it is all through connection. The connections are your yeses, or at least your opportunities. And if you're not hustling that, you're gonna fall short. You're going to lose out. This is Los Angeles. This is 2008, 2010. Like, this is the boom of when that was happening, of when all of this stuff really started to garnish, like, a lot of celebritydom with it.
Attention.
Same thing in the culinary field. Like, my opportunities that came through culinarily during that time were because it was more exposed on television. Like, in my dance companies, because I was always cooking for them, we were watching Food Network. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when, Food Network 2000s and beyond really started to create its own celebrity.
Top Chef. Bon Bravo. Like, other places started doing shows.
Like, it's all this interesting kind of accessibility now to be cooks. And so it was, like, kind of cooler. And there's a little bit more of a understanding in actually I think now more Los Angeles of that camaraderie of who you've worked with and worked for and how closely knit that is, especially now, especially with like that new wave of restaurants that happened about 5-10 years ago. And so I decided I want to work at Josie's. My time at Josie's was short. It wasn't long, and I kind of went into a private chef opportunity, which I've dabbled in here and there. Obviously now more than ever it's more of my main occupation, but